Running my beautiful niche community, and today it's gonna be a very interesting video because we are talking about Stonewall fighters. You might be thinking, "What is a Stonewall fighter? What is it?" Oh, great AMJ, bestow your knowledge upon me. Well, lucky for you, I will. Right, which is dictionary level definition. Webster came a number up. But a Stonewall fighter is a moderately good fighter who is best known for their chins and has been in many wars. Now most of these people will not like be terrible fighters, except for one. But most of these people are like good fighters, but like I think that the chin has carried them throughout most of their careers. Okay, um, one example of first example, and I feel like the poster boy of this is Dan the Hangman Hooker. Now, Dan the Hangman Hooker, we love Dan Hooker. We love a journeyman, but I'm kidding. But Hooker is a very good example of a Stonewall fighter, and that's because he has been in so many wars. And I'm gonna talk about you that I feel like if you think about Dan Hooker, you're thinking about these fights, okay? And the first one, and so just talking about his career, he would lose his debut, but go on 4 fight win streak. Pretty impressive. Jim Miller, Gilbert Burns, all of them. But then he would face up against Edson Barbosa. Now, this was when Edson Barbosa was actually at the top of the lightweight division. He wasn't turning into like just another journeyman. Nowadays, I think that Dana White's gambling with the Nelk boys. He gets a call up. He's like, "Hey, we need to fit in us out for a fight card. Do you think we should put Edson Barbosa for like another up and comer?" And Dana White just chuckles. And I was like, "Yeah." He doesn't even kind of give a second shot Barbosa. I'm RP him. He already hit the Brazilian 10. Shout out Money Monzel. But this would be an absolute beating on Hooker's part. Just look at these stats, man. I don't know I don't know what makes Dan Hooker like do this to himself. What I've seen, you've all seen the fight. Edson would. The first 2 rounds wouldn't even be that competitive, to be honest. Edson went into this an underdog. I don't know how. And would just like piece Dan Hooker up, like on the feet, heel kick, and then like the second round they would second round I feel like Dan Hooker had some success, especially with his striking because Edson was just tired from trying to finish the fight. I mean, 126 to 81 significant strikes. And just look at this. And just look at what's on your screen right now. Edson Barbosa did a spinning heel kick into the gut of Dan Hooker, And look, like Dan Hooker just is not thinking about the fight right now. He is thinking about how would I eat after this. He's thinking, do I have to eat through a metal straw now? Do I have to like get a tube inserted in me? He was going off straight instinct because after this, he would still get up after this. He wouldn't like get knocked down at all. He would stand right back up and move forward. I think that like maybe Edson Barbosa like made him like just think of another world, just go like anywhere else but where the fight is. It was brutal. Okay, after this, he tried to hit the Khabib. You ever seen that clip from Khabib and Edson Barbosa hitting the spinning heel kick? He just walked forward. I think that Dan Hooker had like the same idea because he just walked forward and just kept on getting hit with spinning heel kicks. I don't know what the ref was thinking either. Like after the first one, I get it, continue it on. He's still standing, but then like after like a few more strikes to the head, like another spinning heel kick, he didn't get knocked down by the second one, by the way. I think he's just trying to call it. I think that maybe then Hooker walked in on the ref, having an affair, maybe like kissing another dude, and he was just asking like, "Yo, can I join?" But obviously the ref can let that get out, so he tried to make Dan Hooker just lose all his memory. Oh my! Very sad to see, very bad refereeing. I don't know who the ref was. It was if it was her being Dan Hooker would have definitely died that there. But then Hooker would go actually on a pretty good run. He would pick up 3 more wins, okay, against Quinta, James Vick, and Paul Felder, But then he would go up against Dustin the Diamond Poirier. And this fight was just an absolute war. I always say like one of the best fights like ever. And this was in the Apex, by the way. This was 2020 in the Apex. Okay, so you could hear the shots. You can hear the shots and how impactful they were, especially on Dustin's bar. And Dustin got beat up on this one too. It wasn't like a one-sided war per se, but it was just a war in general. With it was just so like, this one again. This was in the Apex 2020. You brought imagine like doing this. You remember being Dan Hooker, bring your mom, your wife. I don't know if you had a wife at this point, but bring your mom, your wife, your fucking little sister, your little cousin. Just see you get like beat the shit out of you, get the shit beat out of you. Just absolutely there. And literally after this fight, Dan Hooker had to be carried out in a stretcher. Okay. I'm surprised that he even fought after this. I mean, he also put Dustin in the hospital for a bit, but like just because you're screaming, bro, he is so done for. But he always took on. We love Dan Hooker. He's a good journeyman. He's a good fighter. But I feel like one more war and he's out. I'm surprised he lasted this long, to be honest. But anyways, he's on to the second fighter, which is Cheeto Vera, Martin Cheeto Vera. I don't know Cheeto Vera. Now, over recent years, now Cheeto Vera only has a chin. Okay, I'll say that. I'm gonna come out straight up. I think that Cheeto Vera only has a chin and fluke fights. Okay, because look in the recent. Okay, in his last what is that, sixth fight, he has won one. He's 5-1 in his last six, and arguably lost against Pedro Munez. Okay, I'm just leaving that. And people still give credit, still give people credit for beating Martin Cheeto Vera, Eamon Zabi. And it's just like what, like I talked. Okay, look, you're sleeping. Okay, you're in a deep sleep, or maybe you got knocked out. You got hit by Edson Barbosa spinning heel kick. I wake you up. I'm like, hey, Cheeto Vera just went to decision. Your first mind isn't like, oh, Cheeto won. It's like, oh, Cheeto got the shit beat out of him. And that exemplifies in his in this one, in Dominic Cruz fight. Okay, first of all, look at the numbers. Okay, 92-61. You would think that he would lose if this went to a decision, but no. Dominic Cruz, and this wasn't even like the ghost of this was the ghost of Dominic Cruz. Okay, he was still trying to do the whole dancing around, the crazy footwork, even though people invented head kicks now, which is where this one. Okay, first of all, Martin Vera seemed like to have his foot up his ass the entire fight. Okay, just doing nothing, just not throwing enough strikes. But then he pulled the foot out of his ass and then landed this crazy head kick in the fourth round. Okay, by the way, if this was a 3-round fight, Cheeto Vera would have lost to old man Dominic Cruz. Just got out of his coffin to fight. Dana White resurrected him to fight again. Martin would have lost if it wasn't for this fourth round. Just a crazy saw. Okay, just look at his head kick. Destroying the face, just so flush, just so fluke. Okay, it makes me mad that he beat him. I actually love Dominic Cruz. Okay, and this is another one. Okay, look at it. How did he win this, bro? Rob Font has to be the most pillow-fisted man alive. Okay, because this is literally the meme on the left. He froze my guy's in me for 40 minutes. Literally, this is this fight. Okay, Martin Vera stood there for 5 rounds, got 271 significant strikes. Okay, to 159. That's insane. And Rob Font couldn't get one knockdown. Okay, I'm giving the fact that he has a crazy chin to Martin Vera, but also Rob Font had to be the most pillow-fisted man. Okay, this guy couldn't knock down my grandma if he tried. This guy cannot knock down anything. Stephen Hawking, he can fight Stephen Hawking, he wouldn't get a single knockdown. But Martin Vera wins fine. This is crazy fluke. Okay, how do you fluke a decision? I don't know, man. I don't know, man. He got 3 knockdowns on him when Rob Font couldn't even get one. Okay, because like seems to Rob Font was doing good until like Martin Vera would just like come out of nowhere and just drop him out of nowhere, and then just win the round just from that, and then get the shit beat out of him for the rest of the rounds. Okay, and this the last fight I'll talk about from Martin Vera to as I exemplify this is his fight against Frankie Edgar. Now this angers me. Okay, I, this is Frankie Edgar's second to last fight. Okay, this was a past prime. This is not even past prime. This is like the ghost, not even the ghost. Dana White hired Doctor Frankenstein, yes, from the book, to revive Frankie Edgar from the grave, put him back together, stitching him up, put him in the fight with Cheeto Vera, and said, "Go." And Cheeto was losing. 4 minutes and 25-second control time. How do you let Frankie Edgar take you down and land more strikes than you? This was, and then so again, Marlon Vera had his foot up his ass in a firefight. Could not do a single thing. He just loves putting his foot up his ass sometimes just to take it out and whip out a kick that no one saw coming. A head kicked Frankie Edgar into another dimension. And Frankie Edgar will also like go on to have a second fight after this. Just amazing management, amazing like house. But Martin Vera, I don't know how people. He's also like the biggest fluke artist like I've ever seen. Got a fluke from by Sean O'Malley, okay? Fluked Frankie Edgar, fluked his own, fluked his unanimous decision. You cannot bet against Marlon Cheeto Vera, okay? I will say that. You don't want to know why? It's not because he's a good fighter. It's not. It's because he will pull off the most like crazy thing and most crazy kick out of nowhere. And that was him being about just about because I think they'll just feed him to another guy. He's I only saying he's on like a Tony Ferguson right now because Tony Ferguson was actually good for a while. I ain't gonna talk about the Sean O'Malley fight because like it's the same thing. But anyways, we got the third fighter, Josh Emmett. Josh Right Hand Emmett. Okay. Now Josh Emmett is the first man I think that is scary, like in broad daylight and in nighttime. Because in broad daylight you can barely see him. Okay, he looks like a skeleton. Okay, okay, and at nighttime he's scary not because of his face. Okay, first of all his face was so obviously scary him. Especially after a wake up. Oh my god, but also his abs. What is happening there? It looks like someone punched him. It looks like a Baki effect where someone punched you in the punch like Yujiro Hama just punched someone in the gut and like that's like the what happened to Josh Emmett. He's and I don't even know why. I think he's like one of the first guys. I think that if he didn't have abs, he'd look better. Okay, you would go into your local Planet Fitness, and if you saw Josh Emmett there, you would be scared. You'd be like, "What's happening? They're doing some dark magic in here." But I gotta talk about Josh Emmett's career for a second because it's crazy that this guy was ranked at all. And this will lead into this first fight, okay, versus Yari Rodriguez. Okay, look at this fight, okay. Tell me what when you okay. Knowing now what Yari, knowing now Yari, oh my goodness, I can't speak. Rodriguez versus Emmett. Think what kind of fight this would be nowadays. This would be like a prelim fight, feature prelim, maybe on the main card if it was like 1 or 2 years ago. This was the co-main event for the interim featherweight title. Yes, Yari Rodriguez versus Josh Emmett was the fight for the interim title. I'm sorry, but this easily eliminates featherweight from like the best division discussion. The fact that these two people fought for the belt and like that and like Ahmed Zahabi being ranked removes like bantamweight too. The way that removes bantamweight from the best division discussion, this fight right here removes the featherweight featherweight from the greatest division of all time. Okay, but again, but we all know how Josh Allen fights. Okay, he fights just for the right hand, just for the right hand, nothing else. And you can see that in here. Okay, 22 significant strikes, and just did nothing with them. Okay, probably because they didn't land. They didn't. None of them landed. He was just trying to load up on it. And I feel like as much shit as I'll give Yari Rodriguez, he's most overrated fighter of all time. You know, and this, and I'm also mad at Josh Emmett for giving Yari this win just because like this is also feeds into his overratedness. Um, he knew that that these strikes are coming on the right hand. Josh Emmett is only known for the right hand, okay, and so this and so he would lose this fight obviously via triangle choke, not even like do anything on the ground. Josh Emmett would take him down like 1 out of 4 times. Okay, this is the first time taking him down, and then got stuck in a triangle choke. Okay, but don't worry, guys. Do not worry because he got Ilia Taporia after this. Yes, Ilia Taporia. Worst beating ever. Okay, look at these scorecards: 44-50, 52-50, 45-49. They gave a round to Josh Emmett, and Josh Emmett was still at 45. That is like some of the craziest scoring I've ever seen, and these are some of the crazy stats I've ever seen. Also, 152 to 87 significant strikes. Just Josh Emmett was doing nothing because this is like his great plan in this fight. Like, oh, everyone knows that I throw the right hand. Everyone knows that I just throw the right hand. I'm gonna switch it to the left hand. Now that's smart. And the truly brilliant mind in the MMA community. He also did this against Kevin Vallejos, but Kevin Vallejos just followed Ilia Taporia's plan. We just don't get hit by the. You can be a drone trick pony, okay? Roy Nelson was a one trick pony back in the day, okay? He just threw the overhand right over and over again, okay? He was basically the heavyweight version of Josh Emmett. But the thing is that people in the heavyweight division are fat, okay? They are fat, they cannot react fast. Josh Emmett was in the featherweight division. In 145, they have faster reaction time, they can move faster. For example, Ilia Taporia. Like, look at this photo. Okay? Josh Emmett looks like mint to me right now. Okay, he's got like the dad physique right now too. Oh my god, bro, don't look at Josh Emmett's face right now. His body's just scary alone, bro. It's like one of the scariest builds I've ever seen. Not just because of like how terrifying it is, because how ugly it is. Oh my god, it looks like looks like if cancer like got like lumped up. Okay, I'm too being too me to Josh Emmett. Sorry, Josh Emmett, but his face right now looks like ground beef because of the beating that Ilia Taporia with. Okay, but don't worry, guys. The bright minds at the UFC given Bryce Mitchell's next crazy KO. Everyone knows that. Okay, if you're watching this video, you've probably seen the KO against Bryce Mitchell. People literally thought that he killed him. But next up, we got the Roan Murphy. Now, look at this. Okay, unanimous decision. First of all, this is one of the worst fights I've ever seen. A bit of hate for Roan Murphy. I think he's also one of the most overrated fighters ever. Josh Emmett, I hate you for again giving this win to him. But 100. Look at the stats for Lerone Murphy for a second. 117 total strikes and 84 significant strikes. Okay, he did nothing in the entire fight. Okay, and he also got control his fight 3 minutes and almost 40 seconds by Josh Emmett. This performance was so bad that Lerone Murphy was booed out of the Apex. Okay, he was booed out of the Apex, and it was at the time where the Apex was just like friends and family. Back in the 2020 era. Okay, this wasn't even a crowd. This was just like imagine like okay, you bring your family over, you put on this dog shit performance, and then you walk out and like your cousin, your mom are booing you out the Apex. That's just sad. But even with the Bryce Mitchell loss, losing to Jerome Murphy, in hindsight, especially with that bad performance, isn't that bad. But now everyone knows his game, okay? Everyone knows that he just has power, okay? And he's gone on the tirade about like, oh, I'm getting better. I'm working on my power. Why are you working on your power? Throw more punches. Stop just standing there. Throw more punches. Work on your footwork. Hopefully y'all can hear the blender in the background. Oh my goodness. Um, this is like one of the most this is like one of the worst like one trick ponies I've ever seen. You know, there's some one trick ponies that work. This is not one. Um, Josh Emmett, I hate you for giving two overrated fighters like a good win, except for Laurent Murphy. You know, he sucks. I will never forgive you for almost killing Bryce Mitchell and probably being the reason why he started his Arc Sanity podcast. Yeah, also check out that podcast though. Check out that podcast. It's like one of the best podcasts I've ever seen in a while. But anyways, that will do it for today, guys. A lot of ranting, a lot of slandering. Um, if y'all have any more ideas of videos I can do, please leave them down below. But like, subscribe, hype this video up, you know, and thank y'all for watching.